We talk a lot about what imposter syndrome is, but to really get a handle on it, we need to understand when it shows up. So today, we're going to move beyond just the definition and get into the real work of discovery, spotting your own personal triggers.
It's that nagging feeling, right? That little voice in the back of your head that whispers, "You're a fraud," even when on paper, you're doing great. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, then you are absolutely in the right place.
So, in our last explainer, we really laid the groundwork. We talked about what imposter syndrome is, and we walked through that really frustrating cycle. Now, we're going to build on that. We're going to learn how to spot the exact moments that flip that switch on. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to talk about why this feeling isn't a 24/7 thing, how it's actually tied to specific situations, and what's really going on inside your brain. Then we'll get into the simple but powerful act of noticing, and we'll finish with a reframe that might just change how you see this feeling forever. All right, first things first. Let's bust one of the biggest myths about imposter syndrome right off the bat. This feeling, it's not a permanent part of who you are. And this is so important to get. You don't feel like an imposter all day, every day. It comes and goes. And realizing that is the first huge step. Because if it's not always on, well, that means something is turning it on. And that something is exactly what we're here to find. So if the feeling isn't constant, that logically means it has to be situational. It's tied to specific contexts, particular moments, what we call triggers.
Do any of these ring a bell? That little jolt of anxiety before you speak up in a meeting? The first few weeks in a new role? Or how about when someone gives you a compliment and your first instinct is to kind of push it away? Maybe it's being given a big new responsibility. These are all classic moments when that internal alarm in your brain can start going off.
Now, what's really fascinating is why those situations set us off, and the answer has way less to do with your actual skills and a whole lot more to do with your brain's ancient hardwired programming. See, when your brain senses uncertainty, or any situation where you might be evaluated, it can flip a switch into what we call threat detection mode. And this isn't a flaw in your system, it's a feature, a really, really old one designed to protect you from social dangers, like being rejected or cast out of the tribe. And when it's in this mode, your brain turns into this hyper-vigilant bodyguard. It's scanning everything for potential mistakes, for the tiniest hints of criticism, or any sign at all that you might fail. This is exactly why you might find yourself overanalyzing everything or replaying conversations on a loop in your head. Okay, this is the main idea right here, so let this one sink in. Your brain is not trying to accurately measure how competent you are. It's trying to protect you from social risk. And understanding that difference, oh man, it's a total game changer. So if it's just our brain's overprotective instinct kicking in, what do we do about it? Well, the tool is surprisingly simple. We just have to notice that it's happening. This one simple act creates a little bit of space, what psychologists call psychological distance. And this right here is where you take your power back. Instead of getting lost inside the thought, "I'm not good enough," you take a step back and you just observe it. You shift to something like, okay, I just got some praise, and that's one of my triggers. My brain is going into its threat mode again. Suddenly, you're not the thought anymore. You're the one watching the thought. So, how do you actually do this in the moment? It's a simple 3-step move. First, just notice that familiar feeling starting to creep in. Second, just pause. Don't react. Take one single conscious breath. And third, ask yourself that super simple question. Wait a second, what just happened? And now for our final point. And honestly, this might be the most empowering one of all. What if that feeling wasn't a warning sign that you're a fraud, but was actually a signal that you're growing? I mean, really think about it. These feelings almost always pop up when we're pushing our own boundaries, right? When we're learning something new, stretching our abilities, taking on more. To your brain, all this new, uncertain territory can register as danger. So that feeling of inadequacy, it might just be a compass pointing directly at your own personal growth. This can become your new mantra. So instead of taking that feeling as proof that you don't belong, you can just recognize it for what it is. Oh, this is just my brain adjusting to a new and exciting challenge. It's literally the feeling of you leveling up. So your mission for this week, if you choose to accept it, isn't about fixing anything. It's not about trying to eliminate this feeling. It's just about observation. It's about putting on your detective hat and just getting curious about the patterns of your own mind. Zero judgment allowed. Because once you start noticing when these feelings show up, you are taking the first and most powerful step toward actually managing them. So, what do you think you'll find? What situations, what people, or what kinds of tasks are going to show up as your personal triggers? I have a feeling the answers might just surprise you.